Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And did you read chapter 199? Our baby boy can fly! I'm so excited. And even more news, Aoyama's not actually weak to Shihai. It's just kind of a bad matchup for Shihai, actually. Kind of like how Tokoyami is, or Bakugo is a bad matchup for Tokoyami, or Tokoyami and Aoyama is also a bad matchup. But who knows, maybe Aoyama can do something useful for once. But Momo grows a mushroom nose, and it's kind of underwhelming what Mushroom Girl does. But I mean, we see her for like one or two panels, so there's still room to improve. I really hope she could actually like do the spore thing, like I mentioned in the last video I did. But I'm so happy that these fights are actually going on for 2 or 3, maybe even 4 chapters for each one, and have actual character development. But one more bit for a manga face dude. I did think maybe he has a power kind of like Kanjuro from One Piece, where he can like draw stuff and it comes to life, or whatever he draws is real, or the magic pencil from SpongeBob, Doodle Bob. I don't know, anything can happen. But this, honestly, I think this battle will probably be the longest because it's the battle of strategists. Like first, sending out Shihai, that fails, so send out Mushroom Girl. Third, maybe third up is the manga guy. But I think Toru might have a problem with the Mushroom Girl because maybe she can get covered in mushrooms and then she will no longer be invisible because you could see just floating mushrooms everywhere. So that's one thought. So looking at this fourth battle, it's very utility based. We've got a welding torch, some glue, scissors, and a lizard. Versus some sugar, headphones, tape, and TNT. What do I do with this? Is this a 4th grade art project? Let's start with Awase, the welding guy. He keeps popping up places, like he was 12th in the obstacle course for the sports festival. He was ranked 10th on the entrance exam with 50 villain points. That's like 3rd highest, I think. Ida had 52 and he had 50. And the training camp arc, he was there, and he would have died and killed Momo basically if Dabi waited like 5 more seconds, honestly. But we do know he can weld people together, and he's actually very fast. So since he's so fast, I can see him welding people together or objects together like Bakugo's grenade cannons or Sero's tape or even Jiro's earlobes or don't do that, please. Let's move on to Togaru, the praying mantis weird blade guy. We know nothing about him really at all. Besides, his quirk is called Razor, which the most popular theory seems to be that he's like Mr. One from One Piece, where he can basically just turn his whole body into a blade. Which, I mean, that is pretty reasonable. There's only so much you could do with that. But maybe he can turn objects into sharp things too. Kind of like in the provisional training license, you had the ninja guys versus Todoroki. They can just make things huge. They have size manipulation. Maybe he has sharpness manipulation. Maybe he just has like a bunch of bouncy balls in his pockets and he just whips them and then just like claps his hands and they turn into knives. That'd be pretty cool. But without a doubt, I think this is probably going to be Sero's nemesis. So yeah, shooting tape and then he just cuts it and just does nothing. Then again, if you have tape, then scissors, you cut it and then it's just like stuck to the inside. So maybe not. I don't think it'll go that route. But maybe he could also, he like catches the tape Zero shoots and then turns those into blades. So then he just has like two giant tape blades. I don't know, you could do anything. Or he can cut Jiro's earlobes off. Or just stop, don't hurt Jiro. I will find you. Next we have Bondo. It's pretty straightforward quirk. He's got glue, which is called ManTheTan, which is just a brand in Japan, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's just glue. Just think of it as the Elmer's man. And seems he could only do it out of his mouth. He has a weird face shape. It's kind of, it says it looks like a glue dispenser, but it doesn't really to me. But, oh well. But I think maybe he is the only one that can potentially stop Jiro directly. Everyone kind of seems to have close range in Class B. So maybe when she goes to use her amp legs, he can shoot glue at him and like clog the amplifiers just to prevent the sound waves or something. I don't know. Or maybe when he shoots glue, her sound waves can like deflect it back. I don't think sound actually does that in real life, but then again it's anime, so you can't be too hard on me with that. But I do think Zero's quirk is better. It's basically the same thing. He can Zero and Bondo can both restrain people, except Zero can also like swing on vines. He's basically Spider-Man. He can shoot the tape and also retract it. Bondo, I don't think, can retract his glue back into his mouth. That'd be pretty creepy. And also, Zero can shoot two at once because he's got, well, I'm doing this like Spider-Man, but it's really his elbows. But then again, maybe Bondo has the 360 degrees since his whole head is filled with holes. I don't know what's up with this guy. Lastly, we have Lizard Girl. Her quirk is called Lizard Tail Cut. What? I know lizards can escape predators by like cutting their own tails off or ripping them off. I don't know how that process works. I'm not a lizard. Or am I? But my first idea is that she can grow a tail whenever she wants, because the couple times we've seen her, like at the sports festival or just in the background, it doesn't look like she has a tail, so maybe she can just do it whenever she wants, kind of like Minetta's pop-off. She can just grow a tail, rip it off, then just keep ripping off tails. That'd be kind of weird. And maybe the tails just happen to be sharp blades, and then just throw them and whip them like boomerangs. I don't know. What do you want from me? This is difficult. But the second idea is that she can detach any part of her body and grow it back. Of course, not the head. That'd be off limits. But mostly just like limbs, maybe fingers. I don't know. The closest thing I have to this is Soji, but maybe it doesn't hurt. Like when Shoji got his arm cut off, that actually had the pain of getting your arm cut off, even though he could have just regenerated it. Or maybe it's also like Law's room from One Piece, where you can slice people and they just kind of like, they're in pieces, but there's no like blood or insides to them. I don't know. But I can see Zero like taping her down like against the wall or whatever, both arms, both legs, and then just kind of like a horror movie, she just like detaches one limb at a time and then just regrows and he just like freaks out. I think that would be hilarious if that happened. But then again, we still don't know anything about her quirk. Her hero costume is kind of just skin tight, scaly looking stuff. But I don't really think the hero costumes matter for what the quirk is in most cases. I mean, there is stuff like Bakugo having his utility is to funnel and store his sweat, but I mean, whatever. No, one thing I thought about for how to defeat Bakugo is, like, dry him out. His entire quirk is based off of his sweat. If you can make him not sweat, then he's done. Then, well, he's still, like, buff and strong, but he can't explode anything if he ain't sweating. But I don't think anyone really in the group of Class 1B has that ability to make him stop sweating or to dry things out. You know, it's the quirks that are the most confusing, that are the most fun to think about, like the disappointing mushroom girl. I hope she does more than just grow mushrooms on people. So, as far as matchup goes, I think Sero can pretty much fight anyone, kind of just have a decent matchup with anyone, except definitely lose to the Razor guy, I'm pretty sure. Jiro is only there for support, I think, listening for people. I don't think she'll be much use with fighting. Although we haven't really seen her fight anyone besides her leg amplifier cannon things. Because there was one time at the USJ fight where Momo made like a sword or something and Jiro was holding that like she knew how to use it. So maybe she has some skill in that. I really hope so, that we can see her do a fight like that. But maybe, well, like I said before, maybe her waves can shoot back Bando's glue. But I'm also thinking that Bakugo can do that with his explosions. Shoots glue, explosion is stronger, and then just shoots it back and glues himself pretty much. But basically, they're gonna make a plan. Then Bakugo will ignore it and jump in front of all four of them. Or maybe he won't, because there's been recent development with the whole... Well, there's a reason he's been, like, going into his room like everyone is out in the dorms, in the living quarters, whatever, and Bakugo's always just in his room, sleeping or doing stuff. He's been thinking about a lot of stuff, especially since the time where he was teamed up with Izuku for the All Might fight. So he's been really thinking about changing how he acts around other people, kind of. It's gonna be a long process before Bakugo is a real team player. But moving on, I want more from Sato, but I can't really think of anyone who's going to be a good match for him besides maybe Bando, because they're both big, muscular dudes. That's really my reasoning for everyone. They look the same, so why not fight? But I want to say Class B would win, because Bakugo will immediately go and F everything up. But then again, his whole shtick is never losing and being a main character pretty much, so I don't think he will lose. It's really a tough one. But out of all 5 fights, I would say this one is the most likely for Class 1A to lose. Second would probably be the current fight, Momo's group, and the third would probably be Midoriya's team. But I'll explain my reasoning for that in the next video. That's gonna be real good. But again, I think all 5 teams of Class A are going to win. Well, Team 1 already won, so you know what I mean. Well, that's going to do it for this prediction discussion thing. Thank you for listening, and tune in next week where we have the rematch of the century. Shinso versus Midoriya. Yeah. What do you think about Class 1B's quirks? Do you agree with my ideas? Because even I don't agree with my ideas. Do you think I'm completely wrong? Let me know, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.